Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bold Wolf Gaming's special Dungeons & Dragons Holiday One-Shot, The Frozen Vale. This was a pre-recorded session, and unfortunately, some technical issues caused us to lose footage, and we also have quite a few moments during the session where we were just trying to get Discord to work properly, and it wasn't very entertaining to watch. So we've essentially cut this down to the highlights of the session. A little bit long for a highlight reel, I know, but we got all of the important bits, and I'll fill you in on anything you miss along the way. This game included Brittany playing Briella, the Wood Elf Druid. Ryan, who you may recognize from our Winds of Arania campaign, is playing Halashando, the Half-Orc Paladin. Alex, also a new player, is playing Set, the Goliath Barbarian. And Shakira, whose voice you may recognize from Winds of Arania, is playing Balana, the Wood Elf Ranger. Now, this session takes place in the same world as Winds of Arania on a separate continent, roughly the same time, and I think we had a very nice, enjoyable holiday session, a nice story, and hope you enjoyed as much as we did playing it. Thank you. So, our story begins in the 92nd year of the 5th era, 22nd day of Evening Star. You find yourself in Hyler, the capital city of Hyleria in Sacramon, sitting just north of the Gorhimian Mountains. It is just 2 weeks, from the regional winter solstice festival of Letzte Brücke. Notices have been posted throughout the region asking for brave and well-trained souls willing to brave the wilds of the Geist Vale for a reward of 900 gold apiece. I forgot that part. Promised by the King of Hyleria himself. It was instructed that any interested parties were to arrive here on this day before noon. Some of you have come out of mere curiosity or a need for adventure. Some of you have come for coin. And some of you have come because you recognize that such a reward would not be offered unless they were desperately in need of help. Or some combination of these reasons. Either way, you all arrive in the city or emerge from your taverns at roughly the same time and in the same general area. By the time you approach the edge of the walled districts of the city, you recognize each other as kindred spirits to some extent, likely all here for the same reason, and you introduce yourselves to each other. And we'll go ahead and start off with, we'll go in clockwise. Halashando, you want to introduce yourself and describe your character?
Sure. Hello, I'm a half-orc paladin. Just normal gray skin for that the half-orcs have. I have a large two-handed sword on my back. And I'm wearing ring mail, very loud, clanky. My character is very much about doing the right thing. So he's accepted this quest because he feels like this is the right thing to do for to help people.
All right, and since you are traveling together, we'll go ahead and jump over to Set. You want to introduce yourself and describe your character?
My name, Set. Set is a Goliath, meaning he is half giant. At least you wouldn't be able to tell he's half by the fact that he stands over 8 feet tall. He has light copper skin that's covered in tribal tattoos and messy hair that falls to his chin. He wears clothes made of animal skins and carries various weapons with him everywhere he goes, including a gigantic glaive across his back, several hand axes, and a few other instruments. His speckled blue eyes can pierce even the strongest soul if he ever stops squinting and scowling long enough to look for it. However, as imposing and as monstrous as he looks, he really is a quiet soul. He tends to want to just keep to himself, which makes it interesting that he's traveling with somebody, Halashando most of all.
All right. And just some background, since I initiated this connection, the two of you met in the on the lower coast of Misha. Both of you come from roughly the same region, and as you were both trying to get as far away from the places you formerly called home, you happened to meet up on the coast and made the dangerous journey across to the storm coast of the mainland, and have stuck together ever since, not seeing any reason to separate from each other at this point. Missing something here. There we go.
We friends.
Yes, we
All
friends.
right. Briella, you want to go next?
Hello, I'm Briella. I am a wood elf druid. Not really experienced in much. I'm really adventurous, and I'm searching out for my calling, whatever that may be. I'm courageous, but I'm a little bit gullible. Like I said, unexperienced, and we'll see where my adventures take me.
All right. So, just to give you guys an idea of where you're at. Oh, before we do that, all right, I will go ahead and introduce Balana on her behalf, since she is not ready to join up. Balana is a wood elf. And that is about all you get out of her. She engages you in polite conversation, but does not offer anything up about her past. So her ethnicity is about all you know about her, and also the fact that she snuck up on all of you, seeming to appear out of thin air as she stepped out of a crowd of villagers. She was actually following you for several moments before you even realized that she was there. But she has joined up with your group. But she is the definition of a gray woman in what's the word I'm looking for? Inconspicuous. There you go. All right, so to give you guys an idea of where you're at, and I'll actually go ahead and add. All right. This is Sacramond, what of the parts of the map that I have completed. Set, you are from up here in, how did you pronounce that? Tusaro Mountains?
You got it.
All right, fantastic.
I mean, at least I think that's what it is. So.
So the two of you met somewhere down around here and crossed over. Halashando is from over here in Kotamba. And I'm sorry, was it Brila or Briella? I can't remember.
Briella.
Briella. Okay, fantastic. Briella is from a massive forest over here on the eastern slopes of the Shield Mountains. At least that's what they're called in common. And all of you have made your way to Hyler. Oops, a little too close. Hyler. And oops, that's not what I wanted to move, guys. All right, so all of you were either staying outside of the city or in a tavern in the outer edge of the city, Cat Barrow or Fog Shade, and you all have met up as you approach the main gate of the walled portion of the city and enter Pigford. The building that you were asked to approach was in the Shadow Water districts, very near the castle. Alright, so it is a clear day following 2 days of significant snowfall. Through gray skies in the... sorry. Put an R where it shouldn't have been. The gray skies in the north threaten to bring the pleasant winter day to gloom. For the moment, it is comfortable. The sun is shining. The snow is very packable. So a little bit difficult to trudge through, but overall, the -3 degrees isn't hitting you as hard as the sunlight kind of warms you when you're standing directly in it. Firnorman's largest moon, Sayuna, looms large over the Gorheimian Mountains to the south. Walking through the streets of Hyler, you see people preparing for the festival, engaging in songs and games traditional to the season. The city is alive with sounds and excitable people chatting, bells ringing from shops as they call people to sample their wares. The smells of roasting pork, hot ciders, sauerkraut, and pastries all battle for the attention of your sense of smell. People are milling about, putting out wreaths and candles and coniferous trees decorated with ribbons and glass baubles. A mass... but the spirits seem somewhat forced. What really stands out at this time is the seeming lack of children playing in the snow and ice. A healthy, packable snowfall covers the city, and the lack of wind is keeping the temperature cold but bearable, and yet you see very few snowball fights. Icemen that would traditionally be complicating travel through the streets are almost nowhere to be found. The few children you see are all gnomish, but in spite of the city's majority human population, you do not see a single human child. As they entered the city, they witnessed a green shop employee grab a drake cage by the wrong end and get set on fire. Halashando rushed forward and patted out the fire. Fortunately, the employee was badly burned, but he did survive. And they continued on to the building that they were requested to come to accept this quest. You report to a small building in the Shadow Water district next to a large warehouse-like structure. The windows of both are boarded up, and a linen tent-like tunnel connects the two. Smoke is pouring out of the chimneys on the warehouse, and it is at this point you notice that there seems to have been multiple flues added to the building recently. And hastily, as they are not overly structurally sound. And Balana makes a small utterance mentioning that she feels exposed. Anything you guys would like to do or look for or notice?
I'd like to figure out if I can determine why they have added so many new flues.
Roll perception.
$11.
You get the impression that the inside is, and you don't know why, of course, but you get the impression that the inside of the building is being kept exceptionally warm. You notice that the roof, unlike the rest of the buildings in the city, does not have a thick coat of snow on it. It is all melted. And there's condensation noticeable on the outside of the structure. So for some, the best you can get is that all the extra flues were to add extra fires, because for some reason they are keeping the inside of that building not just comfortable but hot.
Is there a door to this building anywhere in sight?
Not to the warehouse.
Any possible way there could be an opening?
You guess that there's probably a doorway behind the, inside that tent structure that's connecting the two.
I'm going to go take a look at that.
Okay. As you head over that direction, Balana points out that there are almost no townsfolk in the area you're in. You've seen one or two stragglers, citizens walking through the general area, but at this point you realize that on your way here, there have been a lot of subtle things to make travel to this area of the city a little more difficult. Strategically placed carts and crates and things, basically directing traffic away from this area without making it obvious that that's what's going on. You realize the only people that really are in the area is an exceptionally large amount of guards. Members of the Visa Fang, known in common translates to White Fang. Hyler's official guards, military. They have red and gold gabensons with the crest of Hyleria on stitched on the chest, black fur cloaks, and gold helmets shaped like the head of a wolf. The fully enclosed, realistic wolf helmets indicate that they are not part of the general city guard, but are in fact military officers. Any other checks you guys want to make before I go into what happens when Set walks towards the tent?
Looks like they're just going to let me walk right up in there, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm keeping my distance.
Okay. So
You learn well.
as Set walks towards the tent-like structure connecting the two buildings, you notice for the first time another guard that was standing next to the door of the building that you were supposed to be heading to. He sticks out even more than the other guards do, because unlike the other members of the military, he is wearing he's wearing white brigandine with no insignia whatsoever. His wolf helmet is white with rubies set in place of the wolf's eyes. He wears a green cloak, a green shield with a white wolf head on it. And I think that's all I got for his description. Yeah, green cape, green shield with a white wolf head on it, and his helmet is white rather than gold with rubies in the wolf's eyes. As Set heads over towards the tent, he leaves his post at the door, lets out you can hear through his helmet a whistle, which brings all of the other guards in the area to attention, who at this point, up till this point, seemed like they were trying to look like they weren't paying too much attention to anything. And another guard steps into his place next to the building that you guys were supposed to be heading to. This strange-looking guard steps in front of you, Set, with his and pulls a longsword out from behind the shield and puts himself in a defensive position. What is your business here?
I want to find out why it's so warm in there.
And what business is it of yours?
It's my business because I say it's my business.
He kind of taps the sword against his shield, and the rest of the guards are starting to pull out weapons, realizing that something is not right. And he kind of under his breath, just so you can hear it set, unlike the previous where he was trying to be loud enough for everyone. I'm guessing by the looks of you, you don't know who you're messing with, so you better answer my question. What are you doing in this area?
I would like to use the fact that I was a former soldier to see if I can notice anything about what maybe rank he is or something. Is there any kind of military insignia I might recognize?
Roll a history check.
15.
Okay. I'll say right off instinct, even before the roll, you recognize that he is a class apart from everybody else, especially considering his uniform is so different, and the stance he approached Set with, the way he hid the hilt of his sword behind his shield as he drew it, so it would have taken a moment for Set to even realize a weapon was being drawn on him. You know there's something special about him, but you start thinking back as you guys have been traveling through this country, some of the things you've heard, and you realize that this guy is a member... Where is it? He is a member of the 104th Vintane, a.k.a. Das Holzwolf. Holzwolf. German pronunciation is a little bit off, which translates in common to the Timberwolves. Some people refer to them as the White Wolves, the commoners out in the country, especially gnomes. Rumor is that they are trained from childhood, quite often orphans, and have no sense of personal identity. They are a group of two Eschils of knights that train together, and they are not only elite warriors, but they are protectors of state secrets. They specialize in espionage and counter-espionage, essentially, as much as such a concept exists in this era.
So I guess I'll kind of step up and put my hand on Set's arm and try to calm him down and let him know this is not a fight you want to start.
As soon as you get close to Set, you notice the Timberwolf changes his posture, so he's easily able to strike either one of you if necessary.
Is Set still going to try to pick this fight here?
No. He's gonna take it from the one person he actually knows to back it down. I'm still going to maintain my icy stare at them, but I am gonna back down a bit. I'm not backing completely off, but I'm taking my hands away from my weapons.
All right.
And with Set backing down, I'm gonna turn over to the guard and introduce myself. I am Halashando. This is Set. We are answering the call that was made out for help from this town. We are curious about that building, though.
He's motionless for a few moments.
Don't forget about me. I'm back here.
Oh.
Hello.
Well, I'm not sure how far back you guys are. He Set ran up onto the building.
I'd say about 10 feet, maybe 15 before the guard intercepted him.
You mean walk with long strides?
So I choose all of us.
All right, so he's motionless for a moment. Really wish I knew why my webcam keeps going out. He's completely motionless for a few moments, and then he reaches up into the jaw of the wolf helmet and pulls the lower jaw down, which causes the entire thing to open up. And he looks over all of you. Not a good start. I'm sure you will understand what is happening in the building in a few moments. Come with me. They were brought into a makeshift office. A few moments later, a man in a plague doctor mask and a white linen coat came and joined them. He had a brief conversation with the intelligence officer in Gorheimian. None of them understood what was said, but they could tell he was frustrated and concerned at the end of it. The first thing he told them was that he couldn't give them any details on the quest until they agreed to do it. The entire matter was top secret, and the penalty for revealing any information about it to people who were not involved was death. He did warn them that it would involve going into the Geist Vale, a strange, unpopulated region in the mountains just south of the city. He warned that there were unexplained weather changes, dangerous fey creatures, and all kinds of other strange goings-on that no one wanted to deal with. The party wasn't deterred, so they continued forward. He unveiled a large sealed glass case on the desk. Inside was a plant. When he put his hand near the glass, it opened up and shot out a cloud of white pollen. He explained that it was a weapon of war developed during the Great Guild Wars. The pollen caused individuals who came in contact with it to develop an arcane disease that caused them to freeze from the inside out. It was never an effective weapon because the adults in the battlefield died from it too quickly to spread it. Unfortunately, when children are exposed, especially human children, they tend to spread it before they develop any symptoms, and they suffer a long and painful death. He revealed that there was one plant he knew could cure the disease, a fey plant that is very rare, only blooms in the winter, and happened to have been spotted by an apothecary in the Geist Vale. He gave them details on where to find it and reiterated how important it was to the city for them to complete this mission successfully. And after all of their questions were answered and details were given, he gave them a writ of service and a small amount of coin to help buy any supplies, and sent them on their way. They did a little bit of shopping in town, grabbing some extra supplies they thought they might need, and they headed out on the road. Towards the end of their travel day, they came to the point where the river turned south and separated from the road, and headed into the pass that would lead to the valley. But the river starts to break south, and you can see even from this perspective, as the river heads south, it begins to run up against the rocky ridges on the eastern side of the pass. So basically this is your only chance to cross the river and continue heading south. The river at this point is about 30 feet across. You imagine pretty deep, considering how still how far upstream you are. And has a relatively thin layer of ice on the top. What would you like to do?
Oh boy.
Nobody's going to send me across now.
You and I are probably the last people we want to go across first.
And even I'm not dumb enough to not realize that.
Is there a large tree nearby?
Right, is there a tree nearby that, fell over the river?
Over 30 foot long?
Roll for investigation.
Wait, we came up on what?
The river is starting to break south towards the pass that leads to the valley. And you can see ahead that the river eventually just kind of smashes up against the rocky ridges on the eastern side of the pass. So you're coming up on your last chance to cross the river and still get where you're going.
And how far, how wide is the river?
It's
30 feet?
About 30 feet.
Okay.
I rolled a 15 on the investigation check.
All right, you search around for about 10 to 15 minutes. All of them seem to fall a little short. Any that are close enough to the river to just have it collapse across. There are plenty of trees on both sides of the river, though.
Anybody got a wood cutting axe, or would that take too long?
Oh, I've got axes. Do I have? Let me check this. Oops.
Like I said, none of the ones up against the river are tall enough to span the distance.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. I misunderstood.
And they are probably way too heavy for us to transport over the river.
Yeah, that would be a pretty serious challenge, dragging a 30-foot tree that far. A sturdy one.
How
You would
deep
be able to
is
do
it?
it.
What's that?
How deep is it?
You can't be certain, but just based on how your position on the river overall and how narrow it is, because 30 feet really isn't that wide for a river, you guess that it's probably pretty deep at this point.
I wanted to go a little bit further down the river and take the hilt of my sword and kind of slam it on the ice to test how thick it is.
All right. We'll call that an investigation check.
19.
Yeah?
Okay.
19.
You rolled a 19.
19. You pretty expertly tap the hilt of your sword into several different places. It is thick enough to support at least human weight. You do hit a few spots where it's a little thinner and the hilt of your sword kind of wants to break through. So it'll be mostly a situation of being dexterous enough as you cross the river to avoid the thin spots when you come up on them.
with
This
my
ought to be
negative
fun.
with my -1 dexterity. Got it.
Wait, -1?
Yeah.
Wait, how did you get?
I use the standard. There's one of them is an 8, which is a -1.
Okay.
And as a paladin, I don't have to be dexterous usually.
Usually.
Anybody on the group got some dexterity?
Let me see.
Is that the plus number or the number in the circle?
The
That would
plus
be
number.
your plus. I got +3.
Okay.
I got +2.
I got +0, so.
So what if we were what if I were to lay down and just kind of crawl over?
Yeah. Or how's either of your throwing arms?
Yeah, throw him across the river.
Just get me to fastball special this shit.
Well, I'll help you guys out with a little bit of a hint here. If one person can make it across, there are enough trees for you to tie a slack line.
So that sounds like the person was +3 dexterity.
Oh, great. You want me to roll and see how well I'm going to do?
You want to try to make your way across?
Sure, why not? Let's see what happens.
It's acrobatics.
Are you walking? Are you flying? Are you being thrown?
Brittany wants somebody to be thrown so bad.
We'll sit you in a slingshot and have Set just shoot your class.
Thank God I did not try this, because acrobatics I just rolled a 2 - 1. So I'm going to roll a 1.
Wait, where's acrobatics under? That would be
Should be
my actions, or hold on.
It's under your dexterity skills.
Mine's
Okay,
+2.
okay. Oh, +3.
There you go.
So would it be +6 then?
If you're not proficient in acrobatics, then no, it'd still just be the +3.
Well, it says dexterity acrobatics plus 3, unless I'm reading it wrong.
Yeah, so that's your score. If your regular dexterity is also plus 3, that means you're not proficient in acrobatics specifically.
You said it's found under skills, right?
Yeah, I'm bringing up your character sheet to look at it.
Yeah, I'm confused.
Yeah, you're not proficient in acrobatics, so it's just your dexterity modifier. So plus 3 to whatever you roll.
Okay. Uh, 20. 20 total.
20 total. Fantastic. You managed to... You watch as Pilana kind of just glides, kind of skating on her feet across the ice and manages to make it to the other side. Finds a tree and ties a rope to one of the trees and throws it back over to you. You easily find a tree on your side to create a slack line. So I still need everybody... Each of you will still need to make a dexterity check, but it will be with advantage as you hold on to the rope and kind of make your way across.
Alright, I'm back. Can anybody hear me?
So is that an acrobatics check still, or?
Yep, acrobatics, sorry.
My phone froze as he was describing things. You roll a d20 plus your dexterity.
Unless, of
Thank
course, you're
God
proficient in
that's advantage.
acrobatics. So, hold on, I'll look at your character sheet and see.
It's not bubbled in.
Okay, so yeah, it's just your
So,
dexterity.
yeah, so just your dexterity.
16 total.
Alright, you managed to gracefully pull yourself along the rope. And get yourself to the other side. Alessandro?
Thank God for advantage, because I rolled that 1, but 14 is the higher one.
Fantastic. You know what's funny? That actually would have gotten you across without the rope. To keep
Really?
your weight off the ice, yeah. Because the rope's helping you get... It gave you advantage and lowered the DC because you can use the rope to kind of keep your weight off the ice and get across. So we just need Set when he gets back. Alright, so Set, I need you to make a dexterity or an acrobatics check with advantage as you cross the river.
Shoot, what die is that?
D20 plus your
Net
acrobatics.
d20 plus your
Oh.
dexterity. So just your d20 because you don't have the dexterity.
Yeah, 9.
Just barely made it over. Your foot actually slipped through, and you feel the ice cold water, which of course for you isn't even that big of a deal. You could actually go swimming in this shit, and it wouldn't bother you. But you do almost fall through the ice. Manage to pull yourself up and get to the other side. After that fiasco at the river, they managed to travel on for another hour and took a night's rest. The following morning, the weather continued to be surprisingly pleasant for the season, at least in terms of snowfall. But as they trudged forward and entered the pass that leads to the valley, they spotted something strange on the ridge above. As the first traces of light are starting to bring the sky into kind of like a purple haze, and you're able to finally actually see the mountains around you, the three of you catch sight of a strange shadow on a high ridge, very, very high and ahead of you, almost up into the mountain proper. But just as soon as you see it, it kind of disappears in a breeze of snow.
Is there multiple times or just once? Does it come and go? Or?
Based on the nature of it, I say each of you probably notices it at a different time. But yes, technically it came and went. Well, your vision of it at least, because like I said, as the snow As each of you saw it, it was there for a brief second, and then a breeze of snow kind of went in front of it, and when the breeze of snow was gone, the figure appeared to have disappeared.
Do we notice? Do I notice that the others have seen it?
Does anybody say anything out loud about it?
Yeah. I do.
Okay, so Balana's the first one to see it, and she says, anyone else see that? And by the time she says something, the figure appears to gone. And then later, Briella, you see it, and nobody else does. And by the time you're able to point it out, it's gone again. And later, Halashanda, same thing.
Seth, did you see anything?
No.
Seth has been firmly looking at his feet.
I see nothing.
Left, right, left.
So, do we want to... Well, I'm going to be watching the path in front of us. Maybe one of you two would want to, focus on that bridge and maybe see if you can't make something out as we're marching still.
Okay, would anybody who saw it, like to roll, or let one of you do this, a perception check to see how good of a view you got of it, beyond just noticing.
I'll roll for it.
All right, go for it.
Nat 20.
Nice. So that's a total. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm sure that's enough. All right. So when you caught a glimpse of it, it disappeared very fast, but you managed your mind's eye managed to get a full image of what you were looking at. It was hard to tell if it was beast or man. It had the body of an elk, a elongated humanoid torso, and a head that looked like a deer skull, or like a person that was wearing a deer skull, full web of antlers coming off of the top.
Dude, sounds like a centaur.
A mootar? It's a moose, right?
Elk, like
Elk?
yeah, deer.
Elk tart.
But something about the sight of it filled you with a bit of dread, something unnatural about it.
Hmm.
And ever since you've seen it, you can't get rid of the feeling that you're being watched.
So I relate to them what I saw and how I feel.
A short time later, they were presented with two paths. They could continue following the river up a rocky ridge into a forest that would protect them from the weather, but would take a slightly longer time to get to their destination, or they could continue up the open slope to a forest that was going to take the rest of the day's travel to get to. They decided they wanted to stay away from the strange figure they saw up on the mountain ridges, so they chose the open path to the forest. Fortunately, they were blessed with good weather and did not get lost. Once they entered the forest, they sat down to make some nice shelters for themselves and did a little bit of hunting. Overnight, nothing strange happened, with the exception of a pack of wolves that could be heard some ways ahead. When they were done with their rest, they decided they didn't want to leave under the cover of darkness, so they stayed put for a while, and Briella decided to do a little more exploring. She trapped a few rabbits and took a look at the forest, noticing some strange things about it.
I think.
I got
Yeah.
18 total.
Not bad, not bad.
All right, so you managed to set up about 3 traps in the time you have. All 3 of them managed to get triggered, so you have 3 rabbit carcasses that you can bring back to camp. Rabbits.
Rabbits.
We went hunting with webbits.
You got 3 little bunny foo-foos.
I take a moment to thank them.
And the crazy part is it's really duck season.
Winter is duck season?
All right, so
Whenever
you
Daffy Duck says.
so you take a moment after you trap the 3 rabbits to thank the animal spirits for their part in helping your survival, and you do feel an energy flow through you that acknowledges your thankfulness, and it is a fact in this world that animals and even inanimate natural things actually do have spirits. So you definitely get a positive feedback from that action.
Why did I think of Pocahontas when he said that?
So you said, I find like kindling and stuff, 3 rabbits. Any
I'm so sorry for starting this.
anything that like is startling or like shows signs that other people have been here or anything like that.
No, you get the definite impression that hardly anybody has stepped foot in this area for probably hundreds of years, with the except maybe like 1 or 2 individuals like the apothecary that he mentioned might have come through, but it definitely is not a heavily traveled area. It seems like people avoid the valley. You definitely okay. I'll say also while you're out. You definitely notice some odd energy to the woods. Weird spots where it gets hot or hotter than the area around it or colder. Trees growing in manner that seems to defy the laws of physics. And for the roll you got, I say you even find a handful of old trees that look like at one point a long time ago they might have been damaged by spells or magic of some kind.
I don't want to go back in the Fae realm.
Inside joke.
Alright, so you travel for 4 hours. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just before you stop for your hour-long rest, actually, no, you don't, because Set's in the back. Never mind.
Set, you're gonna get us eaten by wolves.
Yo is so perfect. You made fun of him, and this is going to happen, because your passive isn't high enough. You guys are walking through. You're still same marching order, right? I assume from day to day.
I'm sure we are.
Yeah, because we haven't changed.
So you guys watch. Balana and Briella notice very instantaneously as Halashando trips and falls face forward into the snow.
Rude.
Halashando, you feel your foot catch on something metallic under the snow, and with the toe of your boots kind of get caught under it, you trip forward and land in the snow.
What the hell did you trip over?
I push myself up and stare down them as they're laughing at me, I'm sure.
Yeah. Especially considering just as you did it, Balana would have noted she didn't have enough time to warn you before you tripped, but she would have said, "Hey, watch that." But by that point, you were already... Gravity was doing its work. Would you like to...
I'm going to look down and use my hands and kind of uncover what I tripped over.
Okay. You uncover skeletal remains, mostly sunk into the dirt at this point, but enough of the body and the breastplate that it was wearing, which is horribly rusted, but still has just enough integrity to be solid, is buried under the stone. Yep. But they're skeletal remains, mostly buried into the dirt.
What the hell? That's lovely.
Is there any way for us to determine whether it looked like maybe it was just like somebody that froze to death, or if it was like actually like an attack or something on the remains?
Well, judging from what Briella found, I would say there might have been some type of fight.
Yeah, roll an investigation check. Whoever wants to look it over.
I got a +0, so.
Or medicine. Medicine is a route you can take as well. Depending if you want to try to.
I got +3 on medicine. I can do that.
Okay, so you take a look at the body. Roll a medicine check.
22 total.
Okay.
Wow, that was good.
As best as you can tell, because this body looks like it's been there at least a century. It is high elf. And in the process of your investigation, you do see some actual damage to the skeleton that appears like it might have been intentional, either weapon or spell damage. Not likely that they just fell asleep and froze there. In fact, while you're looking through it and kind of digging into the dirt to get a better look at the body, you find the arm of some that does not appear to belong to that person under its body. So you imagine there's probably another one buried even further into the dirt.
Wow.
I know exactly what you're referencing.
Am I missing something?
Yeah, she's doing the things from It where he waves the hand.
I'll drop it in the chat. I just dropped it in the chat.
Okay. Wait, in the Discord chat or?
Yeah.
It looks like killing this person cost somebody an arm and maybe a leg.
Right, anything you guys would like to do in the area before you move on?
I mean, I'm good. I don't think there's going to be anything worth recuperating or recovering from this body. So.
Somebody left me. Oh, she is.
Can you make out if it was a weapon or a spell?
Oh God!
What?
Wait, what?
Oh, just saw it. Unfortunately, Halashando, without the skin, it's hard. Like you get that clue better from the skin than because you can't see any obvious weapon marks, but also given the age of the skeleton, those marks might not be there. But you can tell there are ribs that were intentionally broken away when they were alive. It's hard to say if it was.
I don't have a good feeling about this. When I was out scouting, I saw tree damage that looked to be unnatural.
But this skeleton is very old. Do you think there's still a threat?
It's a good idea to be on high alert.
Do you guys want to take a look around and outside of the immediate area of the body, see if you find anything else?
Yeah, that might be a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay. Who wants to roll an investigation check in the general area?
I'll get I'll go ahead and try.
Okay, roll for investigation.
Hold on. Let me freaking look at my shit, dumbass. Intelligence. Okay, so just a roll. Got it. 16?
16. As you search around, most of them aren't as obvious, but you manage to uncover more and more and more bodies. A mix of human and high elf, early human, most likely. Lots of weapons and armor. Most of it rusted through. One thing that surprises you, though, one of the bodies you uncover is grasping in their hand a weapon that has not seen any wear over the 100 or more years that these bodies have been here. It is a battle axe with a white wooden handle, wrapped in red leather. No signs of rust or anything else, and you get a vaguely peppermint smell as you pull it out of the snow. You try to wipe some of the frost off of the blade, and it immediately appears again as you wipe it away, like it's freezing the moisture around the blade.
I'm very, very interested in this battle axe.
Would you like to take a look at it, Set?
Give me.
I walk over to Set and I give him the battle axe.
You better axe nicely.
Okay, Set, as you are handed the axe, is surprisingly lightweight for what it is, and aerodynamic. If you would like to go to manage your equipment and add the Peppermint Battle Axe.
When you strike your enemies, do they smell extra minty?
I will go ahead and let's see. I'll read off the basic description.
Mint 8.
Peppermint Great Axe, sorry.
Peppermint Great, yeah, I just saw it. Add that. There we go. Hey.
Oh, wait. Hold on. That's not right, is it?
Is that not it? 4 pounds, martial, versatile, throne range. That seems right.
Okay. Yep, that might be it.
For how you described it, yeah.
Ooh. You really got inspired by God of War.
Yep. So basically, this axe, it is throwable. So of course, in that case, you would use your dexterity roll to throw it. But if you do throw it, when you start your turn, that's what I'm not understanding why that part of the description isn't there. If it is not in your hand at the beginning of your turn, I feel like this is an old version. As a bonus action, you can call it back to your hand, and it will, as long as it is not prevented from doing so. It will return to your hand. Does cold damage.
Fucking Mjolnir here.
Yeah, it does cold damage, and it is a +1 weapon. So, if you want to equip that, and
I just did. I'm going.
Guys, go ahead and take your hour rest here. And about half hour after you get going again, you start hearing snapping branches and twigs and stuff in the area around you, and little blurs of motion. And fairly quickly, you realize you are surrounded by whatever this is. And it only takes a moment. For you to begin hearing growling wolves coming out from behind the trees.
Wolves.
What would you like to do?
You're the druid. Find a way to peacefully get these fuckers off our asses.
Before I take my axe for a test drive.
Please don't.
I'm gonna growl back at him.
Well, an
yeah,
animal-
That's large.
yeah. We both me and Halashando, we just growl.
Okay, roll intimidation checks, each of you.
10.
Halashando.
18.
Okay.
Oh my god.
How is
Set.
he more intimidating than the giant?
Right.
I have a
Set.
higher charisma score.
Set, who you would figure would be the most intimidation, growls at them, no effect. Halashando lets out like this lion-like roar, and the wolves are briefly taken aback. The important thing is you guys did not immediately initiate the encounter, so... And 4 of these wolves have you surrounded. A 5th one joins in, a little bit larger. Appears to be the alpha of the pack, and he starts growling at you as well, but only for a brief moment, then he stops. And then you hear him speak. Hold on, Chet.
What the fuck?
Oh. You don't see this every day. He starts doing a circle around you, and the wolves obey him. They kind of back off. They're still licking their chops, but they obey his command and stop their aggressive stance. I haven't seen humanoids come through here in quite a while.
And we all can hear this, right? It's not just
Yep.
one. Or
It's not. Okay.
Yep. You are all hearing him speak. And you realize at this
is talking.
You realize at this point, even the expressions of this wolf seem almost human, not typical animal behavior. So what's your lot's
I can talk.
story? What are you doing here?
We are looking for plant.
He kind of looks around. Well, good luck with that. He looks around at the pack, and then looks back at you. You know, I've been helping this pack hunt for quite a while, generations even. But I can always redirect them. But, you know, as an immortal, I have no need to eat. I do hunger for something else, though. I long for a nice, intelligent conversation. I don't suppose any of you would happen to be well read.
Which one of us would be?
Nobody has ever read me.
Never mind him.
Yes, he wasn't at the top of my list for consideration. The hill giants around here seem more well-versed than he.
I got a +0 in intelligence.
Okay, a thing
Intelligence?
a thing to take into consideration here. Proficiencies in various wisdom or intelligence checks may help you out with this.
Okay, alright, hold on.
I have wisdom.
1 and +2.
I've got +2 in wisdom.
I have +3 and +0.
Yeah, no surprise to anybody. Y'all don't want to rely on me.
So who wants to sit down and have a conversation with the wolf?
I will.
You will? Okay. Very
She beat
well.
me to it.
My name is Sirius. What is yours?
Briella.
Hermione.
Harry Potter. So who's Ron Weasley?
You're the redhead.
I am the redhead, but at least I look like Hermione more than Ron.
Red hair, second-hand robes. You're
Harry
Weasley.
Potter.
Damn.
Draco,
I
whenever he
just
starts
watched
to
that
say
the other
the
day.
Draco, whenever he starts to say the P in Potter.
Potter.
Nice to meet you, Briella.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and
Anyway.
let you choose the first topic since you're the guest. What would you like to talk to me about?
Stated you're immortal. How long have you been in these parts?
Hard to say. Many centuries, at least. Your wood elf, you'll learn over time that once you start crossing the century marks, your older years start to fade away from you. But many centuries, at least.
Can you tell me what happened here with the elves? I'm interested to know what happened with my ancestors.
Odd move. But I'll oblige. This is the outer edges of the final battles between Aphiel and Allure. Some 500 years ago, in the valley ahead, there was a large tower where Aphiel made his home, tried to rule the world from there. And an old friend of his, Allure, as I'm sure you know most of their story, but they raised armies of powerful mages, and this is where their conflict came to a head. Both of them destroyed and ascended to godhood. Many others who died here were not so lucky, but that is the way of life. That is, by the way, why things are so strange here. The damage of that battles destroyed much of the natural spirits, opened rifts to the Fey realm and other strange occurrences. The defense created by... I'm sorry, I'm having a brain fart here. Eel deer, so that nature could fight back when it was mistreated. So, very well, I've given you some information. What should I ask you about? You know, I haven't left this area in quite some time. Perhaps there's some history you could fill me in on. So, Briella, if you could go ahead and roll a history check, unless you have a specific historic event you would like to talk about, just roll a general check.
Okay. At 12.
12. Okay, so you go ahead and pass some stories some of the older people in the tribe had told you, things you hadn't witnessed personally, but you managed to make yourself sound pretty knowledgeable about the topics, and he seems engrossed in these tales. All right, next topic is yours. And you can choose general topics. You don't have to like ask specific things. You can choose from history, politics, survival skills, herbalism, whatever you feel your
character would
character
talk
would be
about.
into. Magic, even. The gods.
Did we lose Briella?
Yep, looks like we did.
Because I see Set in Briella's place.
Yep.
Hold on, let me go see.
Oh, there she is.
Yeah.
There we are.
I'm here.
So what topic would you like to discuss with her?
I'm eager to know about their plant life, their herbalism. Is there anything that could treat ailments if we were to become ill or attacked in the area? Do you know anything?
Roll a... You can use nature or medicine for this one.
I'm doing medicine. Hmm, 22.
Very nice.
Okay. So you share some of your herbal medicinal knowledge with him, and he gets into discussing some of the stuff he's seen around the forest. There are some red mushrooms deeper in the valley that are basically the same stuff that make health potions, or one of the ingredients anyway. Also a lot of aloe.
Those are in the valley?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He also mentions there's a lot of aloe plants in the very forest you're standing in, which he's found are good at treating skin conditions or injuries, abrasion, stuff like that. Soothing. Alright, so that's 3.
Any indication on the plant we're looking for?
You might need to describe it to him.
Alright, so you mentioned that plant, and he says, yes, I, not recently, but I do know it grows somewhere not too far away. The stuff doesn't tend to pop up in the same place every time, so I haven't seen it this season yet, but it most likely is here somewhere. So, my turn again. Tell me about your culture's artistry, dance, paintings, whatever it is you people do. So go ahead and roll a... Roll a performance check with advantage. Nice. All right, so you go into depth about the different things that your culture does for entertainment and you know, semi-religious performances and art and all of this. And once again, he's engrossed. And and admits that living among wolves, there isn't much in their own way that he gets to participate in culture. Right. If you'll indulge me one more, pick another topic that we can discuss. Something you can share with him. You get the impression that's what he's looking for. He's looking for exposure to stuff he doesn't get to experience himself, living in a desolate area like this.
I like him. He's pretty cool. He's been living here a long time. Why don't you ask him about survival? What are we to expect or anything like that? See if there's any actually like weather patterns.
Remember, he's looking for stuff to be offered to him, and he, exchanges in
Oh, yeah,
kind.
that's true. Sorry, I had a brain fart.
Pretty good with Arcana.
I would like to discuss with him, though, like, the religious practice, like, of us in the group, like, me, maybe if I do know something about maybe, like, Halashando, share kind of that.
Okay.
And then see if he has anything to say about the area, if there's anything maybe we can take from that.
Okay, so roll... Roll religion. Yeah, we'll call that one with advantage too, since you're the sharing the topic.
16.
Nice. You were rolling well tonight. All right, so you share. I mean, Halashando, have you shared your religious belief set?
I don't think I really have. Like, we haven't really gone into a group and talked about our religious aspects. But if she starts talking about it, I can chime in.
Okay.
If she's talking about her own.
Not much. She asked to talk to him about religion, their various spiritual beliefs, and all of that. So, Halashando and Set, the areas that you came from are set apart a bit from the rest of the world, because most of what takes place of gods in your cultures were the old dragons that once ruled over your area of the world. And being immortals, whenever they finally did leave Fear Normand, most of them have the same kind of influence as gods, and their followers have a realm that they can go to after death and all of that. So most likely you followed in that same vein, whereas most of the people on the
I think we talked about that with my character as well, and I said that it was mostly probably like similar to Shintoism, believing there's spirits or kami or gods and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that would make sense. And Set, you come from a Tibetan-like region. So the dragons that your people followed would have had similar backgrounds to that. We can go into more detail later. But Briella, as a druid, your the god that you attach most to would be just forgot his name again, Elodir, who is essentially the original druid. he believed he was the first to realize that inanimate things, even like rivers and trees and rocks, all parts of nature had a spirit, and in their creation were left somewhat defenseless. He unlocked the special natural magic that druids and rangers use, and helped establish more of protection for nature, a way for it to fight back against the mortal species that were less than respectful of that balance. So that is who you generally follow, although it's less of a conventional religious faith, but more of just a following his teachings, like Buddhism. Less worship, more following his example. So you just...
Side note, are dragons still a thing? Like, you were talking about them in like past tense, so I just didn't know if like Alessandro and Set had ever seen them or anything.
No, they wouldn't have seen any. In the first era of Sacramento, humans were ruled over by dragons. Most of them not very benevolent. Most of them were horrible, horrible creatures. The one thing that ruled over the regions where Set and Halashando were from, they were a more benevolent kind. And that's part of the reason they left, because once the old Alfardarine decided to rebel against the dragons of the region where Set and Halashando are from actually went to help the mortals end the era of dragon rule. Most of the dragons, as far as anybody knows, have been completely wiped out. Occasionally one will be found in hiding and be dealt with, but for the most part, very few have been seen over the last few thousand years. So, as you're having this discussion, he points out how many different appropriate names there are for this place that you're in now. He thinks it should be called the Valley of the Gods, because this is the location where 3 gods ascended from their mortal lives to godhood. Aphael and Allure, of course. And he says that you're not far from Arosta, which was the original temple of Udal, and where Udal ascended to godhood. And finds it interesting that one place can hold so much fate in it. Again, religion isn't something he gets a lot of experience of, living with a wolf pack. But he has always found it very fascinating, that transition process, and the amount of damage that can be done in the process. And you said you had some questions for him in that conversation?
Yeah, if you wanted to share back just about the area's different religious practices, possibly the spirits and stuff like that in the area, just because you said that, after seeing, the dead bodies and thinking, the rabbits and stuff like that, that I sensed that in the area. So I just didn't know if you would share on that or not.
Well, I found myself quite full, so I thank you for that. And he calls to the other wolves, "Go find yourself an elk or something. These people are all right." Well, as I said, much of the strangeness of this place is leftover damage from the final battles between Aphael and Allure. A god does watch over this valley, but I have to be careful not to say too much. Wouldn't want to get on his bad side. But for what it's worth, if I run into Rubizal, I'll put in a good word for you. Hopefully you manage to get in and out without having any encounters with him. but if you can't, it'll help if you have a friend in the forest, so to speak. One other heads up. A short ways ahead, you're going to run into a small home. Strange folk live there, but they'll do you no harm as long as you respect their property. Just keep that in mind. Well, this has been very pleasant. If you were ever unfortunate enough to end up in the area again, I'd love to have another conversation. But I had better help these idiots find something to eat before they starve themselves. Thank you very much for the conversation. And he kind of gives just wanting to keep your eyes out. And
Yeah.
okay. So you proceed forward, and sure enough, between these two rocky ridges, there is a small brown cabin. And I don't mean logs, it's brown. With a white roof, as you would expect from the snow, but in addition to that, there are big globules of bright colors all over the roof and the walls. The windows are trimmed out in white, and sure enough, there's smoke coming from a chimney attached to the home. And it appears, unless you want to climb up over the ridges on the side, which will slow you down a little bit, the only way forward is through the house.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And you're also reaching the end of your travel day, so at some point soon you're going to have to camp.
Okay, should we climb over, or should we just go up to the door and knock on the door? Hey, we need to go through.
Well, so it's a home we found.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the same one the wolf was talking about, where we should respect their property?
Yeah.
So if we're going to damage anything by trying to climb up something, I would say no.
Right.
It probably wouldn't be a good idea to camp outside their front door without their permission either.
Exactly.
This is correct. Is there a way for us to get up to the door without having to damage any property, or possibly? Is there a path that leads up to it?
Right, that's what I was wondering too.
There doesn't seem to be much in the way of yard structures or anything like that. I mean, the house is the house, so you can see where the front door is and take a straight shot for it. Is that what you want to do?
Yeah.
All right, who's knocking?
I will and leave a succulent.
Succulent?
You're gonna knock? Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. So you go up and you knock on the door, and it's a bit of a dull knock because the surface is kind of soft, like some kind of bread. But
Happy I didn't knock.
It does make the sound, and the door creaks open. Inside, there's a fire going, and it's nice, and you feel the warmth come out and greet you. And when it first opens, you look through the crack in the door and don't see anything. Then you look down, and even a little bit shorter than you, Briella, is a life-size gingerbread man. Hello? What do you want?
No,
Oh, jeez.
Not
The gumdrop buttons! Sorry, I had to.
Hello, my name is Briella. What may your name be?
We have no purpose for names. Not even sure where we came from, to be honest. One day we were just here. But it's nice to meet you, Briella. We don't get visitors very often. What is it you want?
Me and my friends here are needing passage through your home so we can get through the valley.
Roll a persuasion check.
So is Seth looking like he could eat one of these things and walk it down with his gown of ale?
Said, oh, persuasion. Okay, hold on, there it is. 8.
What was it?
8.
Well, I suppose it'd be okay. Just wipe your feet, please. So he opens the door the rest of the way and invites you to in. Set. It's going to be a bit of a squeeze for you, but
What's the house made out of?
Gingerbread.
are you asking that?
Or just looking?
Roll a perception check.
That 20 for a total of 23.
23.
Nice.
It doing everything but tasting it, you're pretty confident it is actually gingerbread.
It's a hard one to pass up.
Please don't. You're gonna do it, aren't you? You're gonna try and take a bite off the house.
The wolf said to respect their property.
And
I
you're
don't
not
want to
Malcolm.
fight. I don't want to fight a gingerbread man.
Malcolm would.
Malcolm would have already blew up the house probably.
True.
He would have grabbed the gingerbread man and was like, "Do you know the Muffin Man?"
So he goes to the back part of the house, opens up the back door. He's like, all right, please remember to wipe your feet. We have an ant problem as it is.
That's just the icing on the cake. I wipe my feet and walk through.
I wipe my feet and walk through.
I do.
I walk in and forget to wipe my feet.
No.
All right. He just lets out an exasperated sigh.
Forgot to do your feet.
Right. I wipe my feet, but inside.
I can see that. I can see Seth doing that.
Yeah.
Just right where you stand, don't even like walk back to the mat or anything. Just
That's exactly what I'm doing.
All right. It's getting late. Are you guys camping nearby?
We would like
Your permission
to.
if you're okay with that.
Suppose that's all right. I understand you can't travel too much further today. Yeah. Go ahead. Just try to be gone by morning. So you guys head out the back door?
Yep, but I don't think there's anything else to say. I mean, he's not really happy.
Briella, are you giving him the succulent?
Do it.
Okay, so you cast Succulent. Your save DC is 12.
Question, is he the only gingerbread man in here, or are there others?
Oh no, yes, there are others.
I am curious as well.
There are.
They're just running around just singing.
They're actually all sitting down to dinner. There are 3 other.
Wait.
What are they eating?
Yeah. Hold up.
We want to know everything.
Other gingerbread? Like,
Hold up.
No, it appears to be some sort of meat and vegetables. The plates appear to be also made of gingerbread.
Carnivorous. Gingerbread man.
Run.
Is there any opportunity to look around anymore in the
Inside
house?
their house or out?
Roll a perception check if you want.
Oh my god.
And you're gonna try to look around casually? You're gonna bust a hole through the wall.
Well, this is perception. I'm assuming you're not using your hands. You're just looking around. But yeah, there's 3 other adult-sized gingerbread men and 1 baby-sized one.
I got a 13.
13.
How
Okay.
adult-sized gingerbread men?
Or adult-
Well, same size as the guy you're talking to.
Okay.
And one that, by proportionally appears to be a baby. He's even sitting in like a secured seat.
So adult size, are we talking like
Gingerbread.
Shrek gingerbread man size, or are we talking like the Brothers Grimm, the movie where the really creepy ass gingerbread guy came out? Are we talking that size?
Yeah, because
The,
I'm roughly between like 3-4 feet, so
he's probably about 2.5 feet. Gnome size.
Oh, he tiny.
And the
That's a lot of
baby is...
gingerbread.
Alright, so Set, you see... it's a one
Mother
room...
Russia, gingerbread man eat you.
It's a one-room house. Everything there is either made of gingerbread or some other kind of candy-looking stuff. Like gumdrops and candy canes and stuff like that. Well, most of the furniture is like candy cane, is hard and mint-smelling. Over the fireplace is a dark red wood bow. There's a table. There's a large bed. Bed appears to be made of marshmallow, just by looking at it.
They all share one
Well,
bed.
you know it's comfy.
Yes, which was very common in the medieval era, actually. It's funny, though. All the fantasy games that have individual bedrooms for poor families, that wasn't a thing. Even kings sometimes had to share a bed with their entire family.
Does the red bow look too big for the gingerbread people?
It does. It looks like it's more of a decorative item because it is sized for at least an elf or larger.
Can we ask about the bow as we're walking through?
Well, hold on. Let's get to what Briella did. She cast Succulence and handed the plant over, and he failed his Wisdom saving DC. So actually, before you even make it to the back door, as he's looking at the succulent in his hands, it's awfully cold out there. You're not going to get very far anyway, so we have room here. If you want somewhere out of the weather to sleep, and we're sitting down to dinner. We don't get company very often. Would you,
Gingerbread men are kind of sus.
If I wake up and the gingerbread man is trying to eat me,
So do you guys accept the offer?
Oh, what do you guys think?
do you have more food?
Yeah, we have plenty of food. Just killed a deer this morning.
How did the gingerbread man kill a deer?
Oh, dear. Do you really want to ask that question?
Okay, in answer to Set's question, he actually goes over to a chest, opens it up, and you see some, a bow and some axes. He pulls out some wood cutting axes, goes outside, cuts down a tree, and creates a few stump seats for you guys. So yeah, they do have weapons, just like anybody else.
So yeah, I'm willing to go to sleep, but I'm still saying we should definitely post a watch. We should.
All right, so they let you sit down to dinner, which is venison and some vegetables.
Anybody else hearing that echo?
A little bit.
But
Yeah, I'm not sure where that's coming from, but So yeah, they sure enough, it is served on a gingerbread plate, and you all sit down to a meal. Set is put right next to the what appears to be the baby gingerbread man, and they end up getting in a belching contest.
I can see that happening.
There's
Do the gingerbread men find it socially acceptable to eat the plate once we're done with our meal?
Do you want to find out?
I mean,
No,
I'll
I'm gonna
take it
respect their
out for the
property.
team. Okay.
I'm going to respect the property.
Okay, I was so hoping for somebody to do that, but
I'll do it.
okay. So, Set, after eating your meal, decide to eat the plate, and you're about halfway through it when you look up, and all of the rest of them, including the baby, their mouths are just hanging open. And one of the other adult-sized gingerbread people leads over to the one that invited you in, and feminine voice. Are you sure you want these people sleeping in our house? I'm sure it's fine. They don't understand. They're new to this.
Set, put the plate down. Put the plate down, Set.
So you guys
Plate down slowly.
you guys engage in conversation with them during dinner, and they reveal that they are kind of confused about the entire situation themselves. They just kind of appeared out of nowhere one day, some time ago, with the house and everything else. It's one of the oddities about the area. But yeah, they have absolutely no idea how they get how they ended up there. They're making the best of it. And they mentioned they're being watched over. They feel relatively safe in the area. You would bring up the bow, Halashando?
Yes.
Okay. They explained that they traded that with the Erden, some fey creatures that live a little bit further back on the path that you came from, up where the river went up the rocky ridges. They had given some stuff to these people, and they traded them the bow, kind of insisted on it, but they've never had any use for it because it's too big for them. So they just put it up as decoration.
Do you mind if I take a look at it?
Sure. I don't see why not. So you go pick it up off the mantle. It is...
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you pick it up, you are hit with the scent of hot cinnamon. The wood of the bow is a very nice dark red wood. And there's a bit of, again, light for what it is. And there's definitely a pulse of energy kind of goes through you as you pick it up.
We lost her.
Uh-oh.
Should be back any second there. Of course, she could be talking to us right now, not even realizing that she's off. There we go. Alright, you back?
I'm back. Sorry about that.
That's right. Alright, so yeah, it's a very nice dark redwood bow, light for what it is. You get a scent of hot cinnamon as you pick it up, and a bit of a pulse of energy kind of goes through your arms as you handle it. You get the feeling that it's definitely magic.
It's very interesting.
So, what do you want to trade for it?
I don't think I have anything to trade for it.
I mean, you have everything that came in your either Explorer or Dungeoneers pack.
Yeah, hold on, let me see.
We also have a bunch of deer.
And 2
Yeah, we
rabbits.
do.
And the wabbits.
Yeah, if anybody else wants to offer anything for her benefit. You've got rope, you've got
For
torches.
the 2 rabbits.
You're wanting to offer 2 rabbits, Briella?
Yeah, I can offer them.
Okay, roll a persuasion check with advantage.
Me?
Yep.
$19.
19. Oh, this is more useful to us than the bow, so sure. And they take the 2 rabbits off your hands. Balana, you can add the hot cinnamon bow to your inventory.
That almost sounds like a stripper name.
Hot cinnamon bow.
Cinnamon.
bow.
But basically it is a +1 bow that changes any arrows you fire through it into fire arrows.
Fireball.
Alright, so you guys said you were taking your long rest here with a watch.
We're outside, right in the backyard or whatever.
They offered to let you stay in the house if you want.
Yeah, the headphones cut out, so I missed
Oh,
from
sorry.
when I offered up the succulent all the way till pretty much I offered 2 rabbits.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
Discord really messed up.
He failed his wisdom saving throw, so that's when he offered to say, "Hey, you can stay inside if you want, and have dinner with us." And
That's from my succulent, right?
yep,
Okay.
Wait, how do I add things again? Hold on.
manage equipment.
Just me, Callie.
So you guys wanting to take a rest with watch, or you want to trust these people?
I mean, I guess we can trust them. What do you guys think?
Yeah. I mean, we did kind of weird them out with eating the bowl. The plate.
But they let it
Willing
go.
to try it out.
Yeah.
Can I
don't
do
know if I
maybe?
trust them, but
Can I just? Can I just take a second to see if I can feel any kind of deception or anything that they're trying to pull over on us?
Yeah, roll an insight check.
20 total.
Yeah, they seem like genuine people, in the loosest sense of that word. They're honestly a little intimidated by you, but after that succulent, they just didn't feel right sending you out to sleep in their backyard. They want to see the best in you, and you get the impression that they are not dangerous people.
Then yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so you guys go ahead and they thanked their gracious hosts and headed out again the following morning under the cover of darkness. Continuing through the forest, they didn't run into any more strange encounters, and eventually found themselves in the Geist Vale itself. They spotted the forest where the plant was supposed to be residing and realized they had to cross the river again. Fortunately here, it was completely frozen solid, and there was no risk of falling through. Shortly after crossing, they saw evidence of man-made ruins sticking out of the snow. Closer inspection revealed them to be old High Elven architecture, and probably dating back to the Third Era. Upon closer inspection, they found that not everything had been looted from the remains of this old tower. some major cataclysm that you're at the very end of a circular effect from them, where they were destroyed a few hundred years ago. And shortly after that, you end up in the clearing of the valley itself. Let's see what the moonlight's doing. Xania is still almost full, so you're getting a decent amount of light shining down on this large valley between the three mountain ranges. And you see off in the distance the forest where the plant is supposed to be located. As you come out into the valley, you see that you're going to have to cross the river again, but at this point, the river is frozen almost completely solid. It's difficult terrain to cross it, but doesn't seem to be any risk of falling through. And since you guys have done so well so far tonight, nothing weird happens. But just after you pass the river, you see evidence of, for lack of a better word, man-made ruins sticking out of the snow.
Interesting.
What you can see of the stonework appears to be high elf style architecture. Layout appears to have been a large circle or cylinder, like a tower. Anything you guys would like to do before proceeding towards the forest?
Did you guys want to check that out, or?
I'll check it out.
Yeah. You want to investigate it? You're wanting to investigate it, Halashanda?
Yeah.
Roll an investigation check.
9.
9. Okay, anybody want to help him investigate the ruins?
Sure, I'll help him out.
Okay. Roll your investigation check.
Oh, wait. I'm rolling wrong dice. Hold on. Nat 20.
Nice. Right. Excuse me. Sure enough, it does appear to be the ruins of a collapsed tower. Most of it is buried under snow and ice. The most accessible part of the ruins is towards the center, which appeared to be the main tower. And while digging through it, you managed to uncover the top of a wooden chest that is partially buried under the rubble.
Ooh.
What would you like to
I
do?
opened the chest. Can I check for traps just in case?
Well, traps aren't really going to be an issue because there's no way to actually traditionally open the lid. It is kind of like pinned down, but you can tell what it is. You're looking at the top of the chest. The hinges and the latch and all of that are still buried under the rubble.
This sounds like a job for somebody with an axe.
Hey, Seth! Come over here, I need you to hit something.
You'll always have my axe for that.
Alright, Set, I need you to roll basically an attack on the chest.
Which attack? What would the attack be for the great axe? Where is it? Is it in there? There we go. 1 die 8. Plus
We'll roll the
5.
attack for, plus 7 is your, so roll d20 plus 7 for the attack.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, boy, hold on. Clear that. D20 for the attack. 19.
Awesome. You can just click it and
Plus
that's
7.
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, plus 7. Yep, so 26.
There you go.
26 to hit. Alright, yeah. The hit's all you need. You don't need to roll damage because it's pretty old wood,
Okay.
and once you manage, you hit it with enough strength to break through and it just shatters. And inside there's a lot of old clothing. There's about 40 gold pieces. We won't worry about converting to modern currency, but so you guys can, if you guys want to split that up, that's 10 gold
10
apiece.
gold each.
10 gold pieces each.
Mm-hmm. And also there is a glass jar. It is filled with a clear viscous liquid. And contains tiny white pieces of material. You can't tell exactly what it is, but it kind of floats when you shake it in the liquid, and inside there's a miniature representation of what may be the very tower that you dug it out of. And the whole thing has a kind of icy blue glow that comes off of it.
Is it like a snow globe?
It does look like a snow globe. Pull it up. However, does somebody shake it? Does somebody
Go ahead.
I swear to God, if I shake it and it creates a damn blizzard, I'm gonna be pissed.
I was more thinking if the town was destroyed, maybe it was destroyed by somebody shaking the snow globe.
But does
Don't
somebody
wanna
shake
touch it and end up inside the snow globe.
Bad memories of the tree.
Of course.
I want to touch it.
Does anybody shake it?
Gently shake it.
Okay, you shake it.
Shake that bad. No.
And a few.
Then don't give it to Seth. His gently would still be pretty violent.
All right, you shake it, and that icy blue glow kind of increases as the snow falls in the globe. And a few feet away from you, in a 20-foot cylinder, 20-foot tall, 40-foot wide radius, you see freezing rain fall to the ground. So basically, what this thing does, it allows you twice per day to cast the spell Sleet Storm without using material components or spell slots.
Interesting. Who wants it?
I'm sorry, repeat it again.
Twice per day, it allows you to cast the spell Sleet Storm without using any material components or spell slots, which creates a 20-foot tall, 40-foot radius cylinder that you choose within range. The area is heavily obscured, and exposed flames in the area are doused. The ground in the area is covered in slick ice, making it difficult terrain. When a creature enters the spell's area for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there, it must make a dexterity saving throw. On a failed save, it falls prone. The
Handy.
creature is concentrating on in the spell's area. The creature must make a
That is very
successful.
handy.
Yep. It breaks concentration on spells and cause. After determining that nothing else of value was left in the tower, they continued toward the eastern slope forest where the plant was supposedly to be found. This forest was stranger than anything they had encountered thus far, including the gingerbread men. All the trees were perfectly spaced out and offset, making it almost impossible to see deeper into the forest without entering it. and the ground was nothing but disturbed snow, no twigs or branches or any other typical forest floor debris. But they continued in, and fortunately, Balana's excellent tracking skills, they found the plant within an hour, and easily found their way back out. Realizing only on their way back out that the trees had been moving and had disturbed their footsteps. But again, Balana's fantastic skills in the forest allowed them to make it out safely. And now, as the journey seemed to be coming to an end, they were about to face their biggest challenge yet. Who wants to roll? Well, it doesn't matter. We'll say clear skies as you exit the forest. At this point, it's just after sunrise. You come out to clear skies. The valley is nice and well lit by the sun. And suddenly, as you start heading back the way you came, the snow starts to move. The wind starts blowing heavily from the side, and you are almost blinded by snow. And in the blowing snow, you see a shadow in the distance. And then it disappears. And a few moments later, it reappears and is closer. And after this happens a few times, you realize it's the same shape as the figure that you saw on the ridge when you first entered the pass. By the time this process stops and the snow comes to a stop, this figure stands over you at 100 feet tall. It does have it has the body of an elk, an elongated humanoid torso with exposed ribs that seem to be made of gnarled tree branches. And it is not in fact a mask, but its head is that of a deer skull with a web of antlers coming out of it. And it looks down on you. And it speaks with a voice that seems both masculine and feminine at the same time and muffled. Like, Kylo Ren talking through his mask. And it looks down on you, and you get, Balana, you recognize the same feeling of kind of dread, of otherworldliness, that you felt when you first saw the shadow. And it looks down on you. You have trespassed on my land. And, Balana, you feel the weight in the sack kind of reduce as the plant appears in this creature's hand. And stolen what is not yours. Who will answer for these crimes?
I will.
He allows you to step forward.
Go ahead.
Well, what were you going to say?
I was going to say that my character is very much law-driven, so he would have, leapt at the chance to, fight for justice.
Okay.
But
anybody else competing for that? You guys can see who reacted faster. If you want to roll opposing checks.
That's fine. But Blana answered, right? She can answer for us. That's fine.
Okay. All right, Balana, he lets you step forward, and the rest of you suddenly feel paralyzed, unable to speak or move, as she steps forward into his shadow, and he considers her for a moment. Why have you trespassed on my land?
There are some children that are sick, and this is the cure. Had I known it was your land, I would have found a way to ask properly.
Yes, the human illness I am aware of it. So this is the answer for both crimes, then, the trespassing and the theft?
Yes.
Very well. Tell me why I should care about the sick children. The sick human children. So I'm sure you know humans, most of all mortal creatures, are damaging, destructive, thoughtless about what they do to nature. Nature is my domain. So tell me, why should I care?
They may be destructive, but that's not all of them. Some humans can be smart, intelligent, and make good choices.
Roll a persuasion check.
Nat 20.
20 for a total of...
It says +1 on my persuasion.
21.
So
21?
21.
Why is it you took this risk? You are not human. What difference did it make to you?
I may not be human, but I can see the good in others.
Sirius speaks on your behalf. Says that you are good people. And multiple times, when encountering my people, you responded not with violence, but with understanding and grace. It is possible, yes, I am not infallible. Maybe I have misjudged the humans. Very well. Since you behaved yourself in my territory, Rubazal grants you his leave. And you feel the weight of the plant appear back in your pack. Be gone from my land, and go on in peace. And again, the snow starts to rush around you, and he fades to a shadow and then to nothingness. And it goes on for a long time. You feel like the snow is swirling around you. And when it comes... What?
I say thank you.
Okay. And when it comes to an end, and you're able to see around you again, you realize that you are not where you were. You are actually back where you first saw his shadow on the ridge above you, back towards the beginning of the pass.
Wow.
So you are just over a day away from getting back to Hyler.
I was thinking about asking for a ride, but this is better.
He just cued us all the way back.
I think he just booted us. He kindly booted us.
Basically, right? He's just like,
Like
okay,
I said,
trespass forgiven,
said,
get the fuck out.
he pulled a Q.
Right.
He was so huge, I was like, I could just ride on an antler and he could just run.
Something tells me he wouldn't have cared for that. Briella, any thoughts?
Thank Melania. That was a close one.
Balana, baby, Balana.
What did I say?
Balona.
You're saying Balania like Melania?
It almost sounds like you're saying baloney.
My Melania has a first name. It's
Just to add to the fun of this, during their conversation, Briella, you realized what he was, or it was. It is kind of both and neither, and but that creature that called itself Rubizal was a Turu Ainu, a demigod-like being created by the broken spirits of nature itself. They appear in places where nature has been devastated, by unnatural means, and then left to heal. All things in nature have spirits, even rocks, trees, and water. Ildir gave those spirits more power, and the Turu Ainu is one of the things those spirits can do to defend itself. So essentially, from what you can gather, when the battle between Aphael and... Someday I'm going to have all these guys memorized. Aphael and Allure came to a head, and that valley was laid waste by magical energy. So many trees and other things were destroyed in the process that these spirits coalesced and created this demigod-like creature that ensured that the valley would never be disturbed again.
There's something from Witcher I want to show you, because that's what it kind of reminded me of. So, you guys take a day of rest first, of course, and then make your way back to Hyler, managing to get back in just one day. You must be having one good dream if you're laughing.
So you arrive back late on the 25th and hand the plant over. The doctor creates a concoction, and within a day, you see human children beginning to emerge from the warehouse, healed and healthy. Once the problem has been solved, the secrecy of the situation is lifted, and the town begins to hear of what had really been going on, and your part in ensuring all of these children were saved. Only a handful that hadn't made it before you arrived had to be mourned, but the majority of the somewhere near 100 children are cured, and at the end of the week, assuming you guys wanted to stick around for it, by the time Letzte Brücke came, you were heroes throughout the city and given special places of honor in the celebrations. So, many of the children and their parents come to thank you personally. You are showered with free drinks and food throughout the festival. The King of Hyler himself comes and speaks with you and thanks you for what you did. And you are left to think about the balance between nature and civilization and civilization and nature in both ways that those situations affected this. First, in this magical creation that resulted in disease that spread throughout the children of the city, and then how you were almost unable to retrieve the cure because of the damage that nature, magic once did to nature some 500 years ago. But you came out successful. Everyone you encountered in the forest that you could have simply attacked, you gave a chance for peace to prevail. And in the end, you were rewarded for it. So, as the festival of Letzte Brücke closes in the most apropos example of the spirit of this holiday, you all think about what your futures hold and what lessons you can learn from your experiences here. And you try to give yourself leave to celebrate with these people that you helped. And that is where our story, the story of the Frozen Vale, comes to an end.
And we all add 900 gold pieces to our inventory.
Yes, you do. Alright, so for those of us, assuming I'm able to get this edited and put out, who stuck with us through the story, I apologize for the technical difficulties. You're welcome for not having to look at my face for most of it. But we hope this fun little adventure, in spite of lack of conflict to some extent, was entertaining and is a little part of helping you get through this difficult holiday season. And again, I hope this video finds you all staying healthy and safe and warm. And I look forward to seeing you on the other side of this. So, from all of us here at Bold Wolf Gaming, my friends and guests for this session, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays. And we hope to see you soon. So there you have it, the Frozen Vale. I apologize about the missing footage and the janky transitions, but in the end, this was a heartwarming and fun story, and I felt it would be a shame not to share it with the general public just because of a few technical issues. I also apologize about the on-the-nose topic matter. In my defense, I did plan and write this session over a year ago before any of us knew what COVID-19 was or how bad it was going to get. And on the other hand, I feel that it was very appropriate to do this session now. While it deals with a similar topic to what we're dealing with in real life, it had a hopeful tone and a happy ending, and it also had themes of sacrifice and risk for the benefit of others, which is something that we have to think about a lot more this year than ever before. We had a lot of fun playing this session. It certainly lifted our spirits, especially getting to spend some time with friends we haven't seen in a long time because of this entire mess. And we hope that the story we put together helps, even in a small way, get you through the rest of this season. I hope that this video finds you happy, safe, and warm, and that you stay that way for a very long time. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, thank you for spending this evening with us, and good night.